What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 11, Episode 4. Stay tuned to the other side and we'll get right into it.
Give me the music. Give me the music.
And you know what? That was just the beginning.
Jump right into it. The episode jumps right into Rinna sitting on the sofa waiting for the other girls to show up for breakfast. Fancy, or Garcelle, shows up shortly after, and they're sitting on the sofa having small talk. The only thing that I cannot get away from, and the one thing that I am distracted by, is Rinna's glasses. Like, I live for a square or rectangle with a gradient lens. Love it. Like, I don't care if it's gradient in brown or blue. Like, Rinna definitely has pieces. She definitely has pieces. So the girls start eating, and Lisa excuses herself from the table to go look for Sutton to invite her into the fold. She opens the door, and Sutton is in the fucking room with a face roller, pink or fuchsia face roller on her face, using it as a mechanism or a tool to keep from crying from what she has experienced from the last couple of episodes with some of her housemates. I don't know. I think that was like a red flag for me. I think Sutton has had a few red flag moments, and that was definitely a red flag moment for me. It just showed me that she was definitely the list of what she had accumulated. Crazy, ridiculous, like just too much, way too much defensive. So Fancy and Crystal are having a one-on-one, a heart-to-heart, and they begin, and I feel like this is the first time Garcelle and Crystal actually had that like one-on-one time on camera. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but yeah, so they have their one-on-one, and Crystal goes into the situation with her and Sutton, and like clockwork, I knew these two cast members would be able to relate in conversations about race. You know, I feel like a lot of times the Asian race kind of go through a more difficult time when it comes to, you know, random acts of violence, and it's really I mean, in the year that we're in right now, it's very obvious that they need protections as well. So it was interesting to hear and to understand Crystal's perspective when it comes to race and all of that, especially because she's married to a white man. So it kind of like, you know, it starts other conversations of understanding as well. Kind of all over the place. But the girls get on a boat, looking absolutely phenomenal. Like, they looked absolutely stunning. Like, this was like a photo shoot for the books, for sure. Like, I really enjoyed Garcelle's look with the scarf, and the color of her coat was really, really, I don't know, it was refreshing to see a color so bold and so fantastic. I also think Dorit's look was really, really, like, it was hip, and it was very much fashion forward. I really enjoy seeing how, you know, Dorit is going to show us off one more time. Lisa's look was also very classic with the poofy coat, and she also had a really cute pair of boots, and you can't go wrong with a pair of denim, which was really nice. Also, Crystal's look kind of showed up too for me. Crystal had like a real monochromatic look going on the top, and then she had denim on the bottom, but what set it off for me with Crystal was for the scarf and her glasses. I think her glasses were really, really cute. I just think, let me just talk about fashion when it comes to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I think when it comes to fashion, they take the cake every time. And it's almost as if they have like this effortless look, as if, you know, it may have taken them 20 hours to get dressed, but the way it's worn and the way it looks so, you know, tailored and it just looks effortless to me every time. And I try to think about times from the other seasons, but for me, fashion from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, it's way more polished, way more detailed, and way more just like classy in some sort of way. It's way more fashion forward. I would not say that these girls have style, particularly because they are very much into the trends. We see the different colors and the different patterns and the different prints and the different textures and textiles that they wear. So, and it's consistent. It's every look. It's something different, and you know that they're literally in, you know, a situation where they're picking out clothes for this particular time, and they're probably never going to wear it again. But I don't know. I don't see style, personal style in particular, but I do see just very fashion forward women who I think take the, I mean, Lisa Rinna, and for example, I don't care for Lisa Rinna, let me make that clear, but I think that her fashion choices fits her shape, fits her body, fits her stature exquisitely well. Absolutely exquisitely well. I mean, Kyle has her hits and misses every now and again, but she also has a look about herself that looks really, really polished and clean and very well put together and classy, and I really enjoy it. I know Lisa Vanderpump definitely had that going for herself as well, so it's just really interesting seeing that, and I enjoy it. It's definitely a fashion show. So Sutton is upset because she sold her house, and she's having this conversation with Crystal, and you know, it's like everybody's like, oh my god, I wonder what's wrong with her, and they actually speculated that selling her house would have been an issue, which would be the reason why she was acting the way she was acting. And to be quite frank, like, I'm like, girl, like, you sold like a multi-million-dollar home and bought and are buying another home and building your, like, girl, like, I don't know, maybe I don't have that perspective because I'm not a rich old white woman or a rich white woman in my 50s. I don't know, like, I just don't get it. And then also she pulls out this fucking roller again. Like, girl, like, get a grip, like, take a pill, like, go take a nap, do something, but just like get over it. Like, just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And you know, the issue with her and Crystal started from the previous episode when they had the race talk. And you know, Sutton is saying that she doesn't see color, and we all know that people see color, otherwise we wouldn't treat people the way we treated them instantly because of their skin color. People do it all the time, and it's an unspoken thing that we do, but it's a conscious thing that we always do, and it's okay to see color. It's absolutely okay, because when people lie and say, oh, I don't see the color of people, color doesn't matter to me, we're all equal, you're lying, first off, because it's clear to me that I'm black, you're white, you're Puerto Rican, you're this, you're that. It's clear to me, and we're these things because sometimes because of our skin complexions, and it's obvious and it's notable, so it's a lie to say that you don't see it. It just is. Like, we all see color. Like, and I just think that certain people, when it comes to race talk, get real itchy and scratchy and uncomfortable and oozy, and just like they break down. And it doesn't have to be that. And I think a lot of times it's only because we started to reflect on times when we may have affected a person because of the prejudice that we put on them. And you know, it catches us off guard. So Lisa is explaining to Fancy, or Garcelle, why she's fake. Like, she's straight up trying to explain to this woman, like, oh, you know, I did this because this happened and I was going through this and I had a tough year, so I did this to someone I call my friend. And Garcelle's like, oh, you know, like, so, like, you try to justify the fact that you are a fake ass bitch. Like, so in one of my Facebook groups, I actually posted, Rinna needs to shut the fuck up. That rape story was totally unwarranted, as she tries to justify the fact that she's a fake ass bitch. Like, you can't justify it. Like, you just have to own it.
I never said I was real. What's up?
Oh, okay. Great. Okay. That solved that problem. Thank you. You're not a real
Rinna was on this thing about owning your shit and owning this and owning that. It's like, own the fact that you are one of those friends that you have to be careful. I have to be careful what I say to you. I have to be mindful that you may tell my business to other people, and I have to be mindful that you may do it in front of a group of people. And I don't want to hang around bitches like that. That's some fake ass shit. Like, no, like, get the fuck out of here. Rinna is a trip, and she's getting a piece of her own her own cake, because, and it's karma coming back on her, because there have been times when Rinna have gone after people like out of left field. Remember when she was sitting at that table and she was talking to Dorit, and she asked Dorit if she had went into the bathroom and did coke? Like, what? Like, where the fuck that come from? Like, no, she's getting a piece of her own cake, and I love it. I absolutely love it. But I also have to say, I just have this written in my notes. Renee is absolutely stunning. Like, did you see how she looked in that swimsuit? Like, she looked absolutely amazing. And I think, like, when she's wet and her hair is all like pushed back and stuff like that, like, she is absolutely beautiful. She truly is. I actually wrote like almost a whole paragraph just on her beauty alone, but I think her ways and her behavior really takes away from her beauty a lot of times, and it draws attention to her lips. This was so late. I think this was like a stupid scene. 10:50 p.m. Girl, where you been? So Crystal was in her room, and Sutton walks in, and Crystal is naked. And instead of saying get the fuck out, Crystal falls to the ground, and I guess she was in like fetal position or something like that, hiding her private parts, because Sutton had walked into her room and was like, I don't know what the fuck you doing, but here's your coat. Instead of just like, oh, I'll come back, she was like, here's your coat. So I guess Crystal felt some type of way about that. I didn't quite understand, but she was explaining it to one of the girls, and I don't know, I was like, girl, you are really reaching. So she was talking about how it was creepy, and you know, Sutton just didn't like shut the door and leave, and like she was crying. She was literally crying about the situation, and the girl was like just crazy. And then 4 days later is the presidential election, and as we all know, Joe Biden wins the election. And you know, I really love the fact that Bravo has taken the opportunity to intertwine what's really happening in our lives, our day-to-day lives, a way where we can like truly relate to those people, because you know, most of America has been affected by the last presidential election we had. So it was interesting to see that it was important to those women as well. And so we all know that Joe Biden won that election, but also around that time, Erica Girardi actually sent all the girls this text message. And it's really interesting to see all this unfold. The fact that she was divorcing her husband, because I remember her being on the Wendy Williams show.
No, but you're not going to steal from him anyway.
Well, how are you gonna get it? Do you think that a man like that's gonna let you walk out with something?
She said that, you know, if she divorced him, like he was like one of the most powerful lawyers, you know, in LA, and she probably wouldn't do well divorcing him, just based off his, you know, superiority and, you know, his experience and his, you know, time in law. But at this time, the world learned that he was actually stealing money from a fund meant for a plane that crashed back in the day from those family members. And he stole millions and millions of dollars from that fund. And he allegedly, he furnished his life. And I don't know, like, it's just interesting to see how this happened. And the episode ends just on that, and Erica wasn't in the scene at all. And I'm just interested to see like what's going to unfold now. I feel like the girls have given Erica Girardi a pass a lot. She's very tall, she's very boisterous, and she's very yielding and demanding in her representation of herself. And they've given her passes on a lot. Like, they don't talk about a lot when it comes to her. I remember when she went after Eileen at that dinner. Y'all remember that? They were at that dinner, and she's like, don't talk about my fucking son. And it's like, girl, like, where'd that come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, but y'all over here stealing people's money, dead people's money at that, allegedly. So I was like, girl, I'm excited to see what's going to happen, though. Like, I don't wish ill will on anybody ever. Like, I don't wish ill will on anybody. But when you do dirt, like, to yourself, that's different. But when you like involve like hundreds of families, because there was hundreds of people on that plane crash, so you're affecting hundreds of families and millions of their dollars, and I'm not okay with that. And I definitely I'm interested to see how this is all going to play out. And you know, he is an old white man, so I mean, he may get off on this. Like, a lot of old white men get off on stuff like this. He's a lawyer, he knows people, you know, he has connections. someone probably exposed him. Like, you don't hear about, like, you've heard a few updates on the story, but with, you know, Erica selling her things, and he's a very powerful man, so who knows what could happen in the story. But I'm definitely interested to see how the girls treat Erica beyond this, because a lot of times in the Housewives franchise, you know, a lot of the women haven't been very nice to the women who were going through divorce. Y'all remember Kenya and Phaedra? Y'all remember, who was that? Damn. Oh, Kenya and her husband now. Hello, I forgot about that. But there are a lot of times when divorces on these shows just don't pan out well, and it's interesting, and it's going to be interesting, you know, from the very beginning with the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills with oh girl, I forget her name. I'll put it right here. She was being abused by her husband. Her husband was beating her ass, and the girls on the show knew about it, and he committed suicide. And that's, I think, the following season. And the girls kind of went after for that 4-minute, like, you know, because they were trying to understand, like, why would you tell us that he's beating the fuck out of you and then you're still with him like nothing's ever happened? So, you know, divorces don't pan out well, and, you know, relationship issues don't typically pan out well with the Real Housewives of any franchise, to be quite frank. So I'm interested to see what the next episode and the next episode of the next episode is going to bring. I'm definitely going to keep you guys in the loop on that as well. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you later, and have a good night. Bye.
Bring it on.